I'm here to inspire, bring positivity, shed a little light. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about lupus. I'm going to be talking about domestic violence. I am also going to be talking about the miracle of God. And let's get into it. If you didn't see my first video, go watch that one, then come back to this one. But if you don't want to see it, Clip Note version is I went to heaven. I explained what heaven was, how am I after heaven, and now we're here. Well, technically we are here, but I'm started off before that. So now we're there. I have been diagnosed with lupus for some years now. We're gonna start it around July of 2014. This is when my lupus took a turn for the worse. I was dying. Kidneys were shutting down. Anything horrible you could think of, I was going through it. And then one situation, the hospital gave me the wrong medication. I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and my mom was here in Austin, Texas. Was here in Texas. So then it was like a big deal. You know, she was panicking. She didn't like me being so far away, her not being able to help me. And in return, I was actually coming here to say my goodbyes. You know, I aligned with God, like, you know, I'm not afraid to die. I know this is it, and I'm gonna come, you know, live my last days here. So I come here to Austin, and I'm with my mom and my little sister. We're all under one roof, and you know, she was taking me back and forth to the doctor. My mom was taking me back and forth to the doctor, and I really was back in Austin to go. And then we had this huge party. I called it Pull My Hair. We had it at this barbershop because I had lost all my hair and I wanted to shave the little pieces, you know, I had left. And my sisters wanted to do it too, and they have a lot of hair. And I was like, y'all know, y'all don't have to do this. And then my mom the whole way, I'm not cutting my hair, you know, I'm not with y'all on this one. And I was like, Mom, you don't have to. I'm doing this for me, or you know, and this party. At this party, it was my family and my friends. It was the best day, you know, drinks, we were laughing, joking. I got to tell stories about what was happening to me in my body, and I got to hear some of my mom's stories. Like, she had made the comment, she knew I was dying, and she'll watch me sleep and she'll pray. She said she'll hold my hand and she'll pray like, Lord, please don't take my baby, because I ain't going to be able to live if I outlive one of my kids. And and so I didn't know that. So when she told that story, she was crying. And then I've also told a story about, again, I've been looking sick, looking horrible, and my mom bought me this wig, and I put on a wig, did my makeup, you know, I felt cute. And in that moment, I was preparing my mind, preparing my family for them to, this is how I want to look when y'all bury me, kind of thing. But I didn't say that, and I wasn't complaining like, oh, I'm hurt. I was just normal. And so I was praying on the couch, but I had my eyes closed and I had my head back. I was praying on the couch like, okay, God, you know, I'm ready now. This it. And my mom screamed to Rachel to get up and take me to the hospital. And then at that party, I had asked her, like, how did you know something was wrong with me, because I wasn't saying anything? And she was just like, Mama's know. Mama, I knew. And she even joked. She was like, you was sitting up there, casket ready? Nah, you gotta go. And so that was the joke. And that party happened on a Friday. And we went home, went back to my mom's house. My cousin spent the night. We had more family time. It was just fun. And then the Sunday happened of the beatation. And if this is your first video, the beatation is what I call the situation that caused me to go to heaven. So the beatation. So Sunday happened. Sunday morning, it was around 5 o'clock in the morning. Keith came, which is the attacker. He came to get some the rest of his things because him and my mom had just broken up. Let's start a little bit before that. I wasn't familiar with domestic violence, so I missed all of the signs. If there was a sign, I missed it because I wasn't used to that. Like, my mom wasn't in domestic violence situations when I was a kid. My daddy wasn't like that. My ex-husband wasn't like that. So I missed all the signs. And so when he knocked the door, and mind you, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, hey mom, it's Keith. Do you want me to open the door? She says, yes, open the door. He's coming to get his stuff. I'm like, okay, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So I go back to sleep. And then I hear them arguing. So I get up thinking like, oh, let me go. I ask like, hey, what's going on? Y'all, I am trying to sleep. I'm the sick one. And I heard the gunshot go off, which made me run to my mother. Like, what is happening? So when I got in there, she was slumped over already. He shot her in the stomach. And so then naturally, I did what most human beings would do. Not run, no. I tried to beat his. So I, like an idiot, grabbed the gun while I knocked it out of his hand. We started to fight from my mom's room all the way to the living room. And I tripped over one of her plants and hit the ground. And that's when he started to bang my head against the floor, so I'll pass out. And then at that point, my grandmother came. And I also talked about this part in the last video, so go on over and watch that. So at this point, when my grandma's there, I leave my body. And I watched him do the things that he done to me. And I watched him go back in the room my mom shot me in the head. I watched him make some phone calls. And I really want to touch on the domestic violence part because he was saying mean things before the beatation happened. And I wasn't used to that. And so my first instinct is like, Mama, we gotta go. I'm sick. I can't be fighting. And she was like, no, I'm not gonna let a man run me about my house and he's just gonna be gone. And then something in me, I knew that something was wrong, but I allowed her to convince me that everything was okay, which you guys don't do. Trust that gut, trust yourself, because your higher self knows, no danger, and I didn't. I begged her and I let her talk me out of that, which it used to be a regretful moment, but I understand it now. I get it. So back to the story. So after, I left my body, went to heaven with my grandmother, experienced that, come back into this body. Once I came back into this body, you got to remember, I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't walk. I had to relearn to walk. I had everything you could think of taken away from me. And now I'm in this body. And I remember on the ride to the ambulance, on the ride to the hospital, in the little car thingy, right? The EMT was screaming my name. And I was watching her do the stuff on me, right? And she was hey, screaming. And I was just thinking, I'm not coming back into this body. She's screaming like this. What is wrong with her? And I'm literally thinking as clear as day, I'm not going back in that body. And then I thought, well, at least she's saying my name right, because my name is Ravanique, and most people get it wrong, Ravanique. And she was pronouncing it right, and I was really shocked. So the whole ride to the hospital, I'm like, go ahead, girl, you saying my name right. So I forgot to mention in the last video, but I guess I'll do it here. So when I was in heaven, what made me come back to my body was God. He knew that I had a greater purpose. He knew that to come back and to tell people about God and worship, spirituality, all those kind of things. And at the time, my grandmother, Granny Margie, she was like, when we were in heaven, baby, you have to answer the door. I'm like, no, Granny, I'm home. I'm here in heaven with you. She was like, no, baby, you got to answer the door. And I still was, no, I'm here. I'm home. And she clapped her hand, and then I woke up in my body, and I got up and answered the door, and I passed out, and like the police was there to catch me. So what's it like? I guess I go more into depth about what am I like now? How is my health? Talk about it. So after the whole beatation thing, after the rehabilitation moments, I learned to walk, I can talk, I can feed myself, I'm back, somewhat. And then, like I told you, when I came back into this body, the lupus was, I still have lupus because it's forever, but the symptoms and stuff like that, I was healed. I was right again, kind of with a little limp because, still learning to walk and stuff. So after that, I was scared of everything because I see the dead, and mind you, I used to see that like Long Island Medium on TV and stuff like that. I used to see these people and be like, that ain't real. Or I was so Southern Baptist, so Christian, that's works of the devil. That is not of God. That ain't real. And so I think it's funny God gave me the gifts because I didn't believe, but that maybe it was a year and a half after everything, the incident. I'll even stretch it and say 2 years, but I think it was like a year and a half. And I was scared of everything. I go outside, I see all these beings, and I'm like, this ain't for me. And so I became a hermit. I stayed in the house. If my sister didn't go out and get it, I wasn't getting it. It wasn't getting God. I was home. I was safe. This was it. And I can tell you an example. One time we went to the grocery store. One day I decided to leave the home. And me and my little sister go to the grocery store, and it's this man. His aura is surrounded in black. Instantly, I knew he was the devil. It's evil in this grocery store. Everybody in here going to hell. That's a demon. I gotta go. And my little sister steady shopping. I run back to her. Rachel, we gotta go. The devil's in here. And she looking like, the fuck? She... So she's looking at me like, the what? This heifer done lost her mind. I need a check. My sister need a check because she has lost her mind. She has completely lost it. And I'm like, Rachel, we got to get up out of here. The devil is here himself. I see him. So I guess to appease me, because she thinking like, oh, this girl is crazy. So we get to the car, and I'm like, she knew, she knew about the whole seeing dead people and stuff. So she knew something was real, but she still thought, I needed a check. And so later on, like 2 days later, the guy he transitioned, and he came back to me and he apologized. He told me he was sorry for scaring me, and he explained what that meant. That wasn't meaning that he was the devil or evil, and of like, he was sick. His heart, he died of a heart attack. So his heart was failing. And so that's that aura of sickness. Transition. If I would have known what I know now, I would have known that he was in the stage of transition, that probably when he went home, he was going to pass away, or the next day. So now how am I? Because, everybody know, I braid hair and I interact, and I'm also an esthetician. So I interact with a lot of people, and I'm not that confident with my gift, because it's not that the dead sit and talk with me. It's all about images and pictures they impressed upon me. So for example, your grandmother could show me a star, and I could tell you like, okay, I'm supposed to translate this to you, and I have no idea. I don't know what this star means, but you do. So I'm learning. I'm in the process now of trusting my intuition, trusting what they're showing me has some sort of meaning to you. But so when I interact with a lot of my clients and people, family and friends, I don't do readings. I don't tell them what they say. I ignore their beings or their family members, ancestor, whatever it is. I ignore them because I'm not that confident in the reading or what they're saying. But I do know if the spirit is relentless, that means that this message needs to be said, and it will probably save their life. It will save something. So when it's that kind of thing, I do speak up and I do talk about it. And so far so good. I guess, like I tell you, vibrate higher is being confident and trusting yourself. So I'm really stepping outside the box by making these videos to put it out there to be judged. Well, I digress. I get asked a lot too, especially with Christians. How do you know that they're not of evil or the devil when they come see you? And I'm like, saying, how you know? You know, like when you talking in tongues, do you understand what you're saying? You're hoping, you're believing in prayer that this is a spiritual conversation I'm having directly with God. So you think, right? You hoping, you praying. Same. The thing with spirits, period, under whatever religion, however, the things with the other side, if it causes fear, if you're afraid, if something ain't right, like they're telling you something that's scaring you, then that's not of God. Fear is not of God. So you know the light. So discernment is how I know between the difference between light and dark, because I don't say I have encountered not of light beings, demons, demonic kind of things, and I see it from a mile away because it make my heart beat fast. I get a little, like, I try not to be afraid because I know that I'm stronger than them. They can't do anything to me if I don't allow it. So if I see them coming, I exit stage left, like, oh, mind your business, you go over there, I'm gonna stay over here. And then, like, let's say if it's attached to a person, because that has happened a lot, I get to saging my energy, or I tune them out. Like I say, think of the light, because like, imagine, I told you thoughts are real. So I imagine this bright light, the light that I saw when I went to heaven surrounding my body. And I'm like, this is built up like a prison. You cannot come in, you can't come in here. So I make sure that I block myself, because it has happened to where lower energies are attached to people and I have to be around them. We have to coexist. And then too, I like to, think I'm a little gangster, 1-2 punch, even though I'm small. Like on the spiritual side, I know that I'm big, I'm larger than life. So I kind of, buff up, like let them know, you try some stuff, you try to have this person do some stuff, I will get my angels and my ancestors to back me up. So what's up? And that's how you should approach these beings and stuff like that. Like, fear is not of God. Remember that. Sage, it clears out the negative energy in your space, in your workspace. Like, I wake up, I sage my house every day, and I say prayer, like, God, bring in light, bring in pure joy, stuff to help me vibrate higher. Music, I listen to soft jazz music just to vibrate higher. I want to bring goodness and light into my home and into this energy in this space. Oh, and also, how am I right now with lupus? I have my moments where it does act up, but I also feel like that's me because my mental state is off. So, like, let's say I'm being negative or doubting and stuff like that, that causes anxiety, causes you to worry. And every lupus people know that stress equals a flare. So, a lot of the things that I suffer with now with lupus, I do believe that I caused it on myself. You can be healed. I can be healed. I have to think it, I have to feel it, I have to know it. Let that be the takeaway. Next video, right out.